run that shit up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cincy Stripes podcast. We're back here with another episode coming off another loss, unfortunately, against the division rival Steelers, which was one of the biggest games on with the win this year. Was at home against the Steelers, just because, big Steelers haters over here.
0-4 against the division.
Yeah, it's not
Thanks
looking.
for bringing that up.
This year hasn't been our year, but next year.
Super Bowl's in Louisiana.
Losing Burrow takes the wind out of our sails.
Yeah. And the way this defense has been playing too, it's just it's kind of deflating almost as a fan, as you're trying to root for them, you really are, but it gets to the point to where you're sitting there watching, in the cold rain, and you're like, well,
that's just depressing.
Steelers are putting up 400 yards on us.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue. I'm like, dude, Kenny Pickett looking kind of decent right now. It's
he dropped some dimes. Honestly.
Yeah. Kept on, Pat Freiermuth with a career day kind of hurt.
Big third down, Freiermuth again.
Yeah.
Big third down.
The Bengals' inability to stop tight ends.
It's like three. It was like third and long, and it's like Freiermuth.
Where's Trey Flowers at these days?
It's like I get the zone, but it's like if you see a guy running even close to the zone, how about you just guard him?
Well, their first play on offense was a seam play to Pat for 25 yards.
Yeah, that was a killer.
Big. Wide open, second level. It's like, dude, what are we doing? What they're trying to run. I just don't get it. I just don't get why we can't stop tight ends.
Another thing is just from a fan perspective. It's like, what do we do? Obviously we continue to root for the boys, but at the same time you almost have to win out. It's not impossible. Our division record's horrible.
We're at the 11 seed right now.
Yeah, our division record's horrible, so we are not going to get any tiebreaker favors.
Nope.
So at this point, it's just looking pretty unrealistic to make the playoffs and make a run. And at that point, even winning out and doing that would just hurt our draft pick, chances. That's the thing. You want to root for your boys, you want to root for your team. What do you want? Big picture, long term, next year.
You got to see what other guys have at this point, from our younger
guys.
Now's
the time to really analyze coaching too.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
You see that on Bengals Twitter right now. It's a freaking civil war.
It's almost just as bad as the Jamar Chase or Sewell
stuff, yeah.
Sewell draft process. That was our first year on Twitter with Cincy Stripes was when that whole thing was going down.
Yep.
And now
I was Pitts actually. You guys reminded me I was Pitts. I forgot I was, and you were like.
I was Chase all the way. I knew.
If you watched LSU that year, you knew it was Chase.
Oh yeah, it was just.
He sat out the next year, obviously, but the year they won the title, he had JJ, but he was the X. So that tells you all you needed to know.
And that's another good getting to that we're getting to the draft process again. It's people are going to start arguing. What do we do?
Yep.
You have T. Higgins possibly leaving. You have Jonah Williams possibly leaving. You have
DJ Reader.
Defensive tackles situations not looking good.
Another corner possibly leaving in a
Uzi is probably leaving. Bengals will really sign people that are getting older. Boyd free agent.
Yep.
It's just getting to the point to where fans are going to start arguing on Twitter. Well, what do we want? What do we need? What are we going to do?
What isn't working? What's
And I honestly can't believe that the amount of people that want Zach gone. After a one possession loss, the division rival with a backup quarterback, no wide receiver too.
That and just that game was very winnable. Obviously, Jake Browning kind of showed his undrafted free agency colors there a little bit. Got bailed out on some tip passes by Jamar, but he missed some open guys deep, kind of open routes there.
He just wasn't even looking at him. He just was staring down whoever he thought he was going to go to on that play, and he just threw it to that guy.
A lot of people are box score warriors. They don't actually watch the games.
Yeah, that's a big problem we have with fans.
That's a frustrating thing too.
Because we watch the games, and then we watch the highlights, and then sometimes we dive into the all 22 with Mike Sands or something like that.
You guys will watch the film. You actually
we look at it, and it's just sometimes it's hard to on offensively looking at our schematics. It's it's fine. It's just we're getting no execution from some of our players. First play of the game versus Steelers, Jake Browning had Yoshi wide open, deep downfield. Could have easily had maybe a touchdown, but he failed to execute on that play to move the ball. that's on Jake Browning. And the big issue with Jake Browning was he was staring down his receivers, not making quick passes, holding onto the ball for way too long.
And he wouldn't throw the ball away.
Yeah, that was another problem, too.
Man got killed by Herbig. I was like, dude, just throw the ball away. Throw the ball away. And you just see Herbig come in like a wrecking ball.
It was his first career start.
Yeah, I don't want to jump on him, too heavily, but I'm just saying those are some of the, like, people are pointing out play calling, but you don't really have a chance to really analyze play calling when it comes down to execution.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, too, is, like, we're not running the ball. Like, 8 carries for Mixon. But, like, if you do kind of deep dive
But if you watch the game or the tape, you run it back, and it's – Joe Goodberry said you shouldn't have ran the ball at all. Should have ran it 0 times.
They run blitzed a lot, and Jake Browning's not changing the plays.
The run technique or like the run stuff was just not good at all. Like I don't know if the line's just not communicating with each other. Like the run blocking is just not very good this year, like at all.
It's not all on them though. I mean, we run a lot from shotgun.
I mean, I think I don't like calling for people's jobs, but I think it's also time for a new offensive line coach. It's just because he is
I believe that 100%.
He's our run game coordinator also, and as you've seen throughout the year, it's only reason why we have any positive yardage is because Joe Mixon makes a play, makes a cut, breaks some tackles. Outside of that, blocking's horrible.
Yeah,
across the line.
And it's like these guys are all, except for Volson, like supposed to be proven guys. They've been to the Super Bowl. Like they've been in the Super Bowl. They've been Pro Bowlers. Like.
That's another thing. It seems like
3 Super Bowl champions.
It seems like we have.
I don't know what the issue is. Like they come over to Cincinnati and they just can't.
They come over to Cincinnati and they suck, and I think that just falls on coaching. Just now, it seems like Capo's having a down year.
Yeah,
Karras is definitely having a down year. I mean, it's hard to blame coaching when they're veteran guys, but it's also his scheme that goes into it.
I think it's honestly time, if we're gonna switch anything up, it's time for Callahan and probably, like you said, Pollock. Like should probably be the first two. I think.
If Zach is truly like head honcho with the play calling, I think it's time he has to give it up.
Well, that comes back to the whole Callahan thing. If you get rid of Callahan, how about we get a real offensive coordinator in? Yeah. I'm not saying we go and try to get Bieniemy. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, look what he's doing with Sam Howell. Sam Howell's leading the league in passing yards.
Yeah.
Does he throw a lot of picks? Yeah, but he is a young guy who does try to force a lot of throws. Mm-hmm. But offensively, they are really good.
It's just we've had pretty much the same coaching staff for the last 3 years. Like obviously longer, but the last 3 the years with Burrow, and the offenses just look the same or not good at all.
You can't really. People say, "Well, it's Zach's. Those are Zach's guys." Mm-hmm. You can argue that, but then I argue, well, if he does make the change and does get new people and he does better, then you can just say, well, we got rid of a few bad apples, but
yeah.
People also tend to forget that Zach Taylor, and then they bring up his head coaching record without Joe Burrow. It's the worst thing you could possibly argue.
Yeah.
When you have a washed Andy Dalton, who was a veteran for us.
You had a couple of Finley.
Ryan Finley, who's a 5th-round quarterback from, I don't even know where.
Yeah, I don't remember.
NC State. What was it?
NC State. Yeah, I think it is NC State.
So, and then you have, Jake Browning, undrafted free agent, and Brandon Allen, who at best is the practice squad emergency quarterback guy.
Yeah.
And we don't have that elite defense like some other teams do that kind of get bolstered by that.
That's another problem I have is Josh Dobbs Josh Dobbs and the Vikings
or
are doing
Snoop
it.
Huntley did it with the Ravens and stuff.
Or the Ravens did it with, Tyler Huntley, or the Browns are doing it with whoever they have back there. But they
also have great run scheme where Huntley just ran also and did the same kind of thing Lamar did.
Ravens top 3 defense, Browns top 3 defense.
They can run the ball and have great defense.
Surprisingly, Brian Flores has made them a top 10 defense.
Guess what helps out a backup quarterback? Running the ball and good defense.
We have a bottom 5
defense and not good run game at all.
Every statistical category.
And pretty much no run game. So that's pretty hard to help your backup quarterback.
It's hard when you say run game too. We don't utilize anybody but Mixon. I mean, I don't think are they that bad? Like our depth that bad?
Yeah. How many carries does Travion Williams have this year? Less than 18?
I think he was one of my 3 guys I picked.
Probably less than 18.
A breakout guy.
It's just sad to see that because it's like as a fan, we know that you have to run the football to succeed at some level. I mean, it's a 4-quarter game. You know what I mean? You have to keep running the football.
But again, you go back and watch the tape, you just can't blame them for not running the football.
Yeah, well, when you have a backup quarterback who's not changing the plays, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. There's a lot of problems with that Steelers game, and I don't think it's fair to strictly blame Zach Taylor.
Well, it's funny, we lose to the Texans on a game where we came back and almost should have won it. nobody's really calling for Zach's job. We lose a one-possession game to the Steelers with a backup and multiple starters out, and everybody just wants to cut his head off. Like, cut the head off the snake and just rebuild. It's like, hold the phone. Like you said,
You know,
Twitter, he built this team.
Yeah.
Like, he's a great players coach. It's just the offense isn't clicking, and we'll figure it out. We're gonna have to make some changes.
I just don't think it's fair just to call for a guy's job that is the only reason why we have a playoff win in 30 years.
Yeah.
I mean, people loved Marvin Lewis for so long, but he accomplished almost nothing here.
Yep.
He changed the culture.
And that's what Marvin did that his first couple years. I mean, the Bengals were brown bag Bengals, and then
that's what I mean. Like, he changed.
Marvin Lewis comes in, changes us. We're a playoff team, playoff caliber. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do anything with that. But that's on the play of Andy Dalton that we had in the playoffs.
Yeah.
4 playoff games. Then we get Zach. His first 2 years are with a abysmal roster.
Seriously,
Nick Vigil.
I mean,
what do you want him to like? Sean Williams. It wasn't too bad, but not as good as the safeties we got later. And then our offensive line was already piss poor.
Yeah.
So you can't really judge that 2-14 season that we had with Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
You had John Ross as your 2 receiver.
14 losses his first year already. Like, without Burrow, it's like, come on now.
And then, with Burrow, the offense obviously changed. We were having success, but we still couldn't pull off wins because our defense was horrible Joe's rookie year.
Yeah.
And then Lou picked it up, got his guys in the building.
Yep.
Top 5 defense. Not top 5, or probably top 10.
I think we were like
Lou's second year.
Yeah, we were.
It was like their first real off season. Like Zach, they brought in DJ, they brought in Von Bell.
And people tend to forget about that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's
like they brought in those veteran leaders that came in and helped build our locker room, obviously with the head coach's
and
help.
People are like, well, blah, 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 culture. But, like, that's a huge thing for football.
Yeah. And I think
huge.
I think this offseason they kind of need to have another home run like that, especially with kind of the talks. You know, we're going to probably finish, say, anywhere in the 6 to 12 pick range. So another big offseason is definitely going to help his case there as far as, like, people calling for his head.
But realistically, I mean, if we do fire Zach, who do you want as head coach? What's out there that's better? Are you going to go to a college
that
team?
realistically the Bengals would get.
That's realistically
because people would be like, oh, Belichick, or people would be like, oh, this. That's what I'm saying. Like Belichick.
I don't even know.
Could get Scott Satterfield.
Please, Dave.
That's the issue. Is like if you get rid of Zach Taylor, you're gonna do exactly what the Bearcats did. You're gonna get some guy that's not that good. He's gonna set you back, and you're gonna do nothing.
He's gonna start.
Yeah.
I don't even want to talk about the Bearcats, and they're 5 to 6 years away from being another success story.
My only hope would be that they really let Burrow kind of in that decision. I mean, you just paid him to be your franchise guy for 5 years. So
I don't even want to get into the talks of another coach just because it's.
I'm just saying offensive coordinator too, though. Like, I would hope that they would have
Offensive coordinator. My scary thought is that if Callahan leaves for a head coaching position, we let Dan Pitcher take over, which I'm not a fan of, just because.
Yeah, we need.
That's an in-house hire, and I think you just need to go outside for something like that. And like, to be honest, like I don't know the options out there right now, but I mean, if Joe Brady leaves the Bills, you reunite him with Burrow. I mean, they hit it off great at LSU, and he can build a successful offense. A pro style offense. That's what LSU ran, was a pro style offense.
I mean, I don't think Brady would be calling the plays, but he can get his guys, set up, get the right guys out there for the job.
Yeah.
Which would be
a lot of people
better.
don't understand. Zach calls these plays, but you got to understand, some of these schemes are made by James Casey and Brian Callahan and Troy Walters and all that. Like,
the coaching rooms are there for a reason.
Zach lets his guys make, the success of this offense, which hasn't been successful. So you can say that's on Zach.
Yeah, because he's the head coach. But I get it. I mean, you don't want to be a micromanager. I think if Burrow doesn't get hurt, I think we probably do beat the Ravens. We would have beat Pittsburgh this week, and those conversations aren't even happening.
No, not at all.
It's just kind of crazy that.
Well, I tweeted that, when we're all up and winning, it's all praise Zach Taylor, praise him. This offense played great. great play calling out there, but as soon as you lose a one possession game with an undrafted quarterback, it's fire Zach Taylor. Poor play calling, poor game management, and I think that just comes back on just average fans who don't really know the ins and outs.
A lot of people that
football.
hopped on once we got Burrow,
Well,
and
yeah.
now they're like, "Oh, Zach Taylor is the problem." It's like, bro,
It reminds me of the whole Bill situation. They fired their offensive coordinator. Well, I mean, that was for McDermott to keep his job.
Oh yeah.
That guy didn't make Allen throw those picks.
no.
It's like Zach's not making.
Allen's picks weren't a result of play calling. Allen threw it
No,
right to him.
It's just how he plays.
That's
It's
like
his play.
you look at the Texans game. I'm not going to blame play calling for Burrow's pick in the red zone.
No.
Burrow threw it directly
Directly
to
to
the
him.
He was
defender.
just trying to do too
Ugly.
much.
He was trying to play a little hero ball.
There's times where you can sit there like covered sacks. I mean, you can look at that schematically and be like, well, why didn't our receivers break free? Is it execution, or is it because of the routes they ran? Or is it like how the offensive line did? You know what I mean? There's a lot of factors that just play into things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first look, it's taken away. Like, what's the quarterback do? Does he automatically scramble out?
And
And it erases the play.
another gripe
Always
I'm
saw
having
Browning.
that I'm seeing on Twitter is, oh, Joe Burrow's bailing out Zach Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
How do you know? How do you really know that?
Yeah.
Because when I watched Jake Browning, he didn't look too bad. Not like he didn't look good, but it's
Yeah.
not like he looked like an undrafted free agent.
No.
He obviously had his rookie mistakes.
He looked poised. He
He
just
looked confident.
Yeah.
He really only had one bad play, and that was the pick. He missed some open reads.
and that's
I'd
when
say-
it went all downhill
That
too.
wide open touchdown. What could have been
I
a wide
think
open touchdown.
he should at least have 3 picks. 2 balls were tipped up to Jamar Chase that we got lucky on. Those balls were very pickable, and they should have been picked.
Staring his guys down. Everyone knew where the ball was going.
That's on him. That's not on play calling.
Yeah.
I mean, you open up the game. He makes that throw to Yoshi.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, that's a game changer.
Oh, great play call. Great play call.
Yep.
Awesome play call. Joe Mixon breaks out of a poor run block scheme. Great play call.
Yep.
Jake Browning, does a play action, breaks a tackle, throws it. Great play call. Those aren't really
Good play
great
calls.
play
It's
calls.
just-
It's just someone making a play.
Yep.
That's my biggest issue with some of these Twitter people. They don't really know what it takes, on the field to make a play happen. Like, a lot of teams have poor play calling, but they have people to execute those play
Yeah.
calls.
Yep.
Like, you look at the 49ers. I'm not going to sit there and sit here and say Brock Purdy's a bad quarterback, but play calling does help them.
Yeah,
But
like
also,
quick
the guys they
releases.
have on that team execute in every single situation.
Yep.
Their pass block, they execute. They make their blocks. Their run blocking, they execute. The receivers, they get open on their routes, and Purdy just makes a 1-2-3 read and throws
Yep.
it. So it just comes down to a lot of different issues for the Bengals that need fixed. And I think a part of that is some of the coaching staff, but not Zach.
Do you go
I think
ahead.
it's 2 guys. I think it's Callahan and Pollock. I think those are the 2 that
That
need
need to go. That's what
So I
I said.
did pull up the how many rushing attempts every other running back has. Williams has 12. Evans has 2.
So we're at 14,
Brown has 2.
16.
Yeah. And then Jamar has 3. Boyd has 1.
20.
Browning has 8. Burrow has
I won't
31.
count the quarterbacks, but-
And then Joe Mixon has 161.
So 20 rushing attempts from people other than Mixon,
Yeah.
not quarterbacks.
Yeah. Your running back room.
That
only,
is, I mean, that is abysmal.
I mean, they need that's another problem with just the offense is the NFL is moving to a 2-back offense. You need 2 backs to be
I
successful.
mean, I don't think any of these guys are like that bad. They're just
Well, it gives
They're not
you
getting any carries.
it gives you other looks too. The defense can't
And
game plan for one
I
guy.
hated one of Callahan's quotes this week was, talking about not utilizing Chase Brown because of this game situation didn't call for it. What
throw
is
him in there.
So every game hasn't called for it.
that? I mean, I get he's missed 4 due to
Yeah,
IR.
But Travion.
I mean, that's just
2 plays this whole season has called for him
That's I think. Why'd you draft him?
for 6 yards.
Why'd you draft him if you're not going to use him? Because he's not a kick returner. He's not a punt returner. Travion Williams, our kick returner, who I will say, by the way, is looking decent.
And Chase Brown wasn't a bad pass blocker in the preseason. He was actually one of the highest backs in that category. Well, that's during the preseason, though. But
I mean, and I just hate to be negative, but as a fan, I mean, sometimes, the gloomy cold weather can get you down like this, especially after a tough loss. And I understand fans' frustrations, but, I mean, you guys just got to stick with the process and understand that, not all problems are the head coach's problems.
And when you lose your captain like that too, I mean, it's a fork in the road. Everything gets thrown out the window. You have to change the way you do everything.
Yeah, it's in pulling up Zach's record without Joe Burrow. Look at any coach without their franchise guy to Joe Burrow's caliber. You know what I mean? Like I looked up, Andy Reid's head coaching record. He's had Donovan McNabb, Mike Vick, Alex Smith, and Patrick Mahomes pretty much his entire career. You can't really look at him and be like, well, he has a bad head.
Look at Belichick.
Belichick without Brady.
Yep.
Is he a Brady merchant? It's hard to say because Belichick is truthfully a defensive coach.
I mean, Sean Payton without Breeze. I mean, this year, they're winning in Denver, but if you look at Sean Payton as a total without Breeze, it's not great.
It's just, and that's what I mean. Like people we'll fire Zach. Well, what's the move if we fire Zach? What do you want? Do you want Lewis head coach?
No.
I mean, how do we know what he's going to do because we have a bottom 5 defense? He can't even get 12, 11 guys in order on the field.
Nope.
I mean, I love Lou. I want him to continue being our defense coordinator, but
Yeah.
he has to get something with this defense going. Starting Jordan Battle was the correct
Good
move.
move,
It took
yeah.
way too long. And I think, that's just another bad decision by, the roster, like Duke Tobin and all that, is signing Nick Scott. He shouldn't have been signed. I didn't like the signing
That
at
was
the
a
beginning.
scramble signing.
It was once Taylor Rapp got signed. It was like, all right, we got to get Nick Scott.
sign one.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it completely.
Yeah, I mean,
Battle's going to fall to you in the draft.
That's true. But
And you got a veteran, you got to let him play. I feel like that's how it goes.
yeah,
But once Scott showed that he can't play, and he messed up that once, Jordan Battle, I think, just
More than once.
It was more than once. But he was that 12th
Man can't tackle.
He was that 12th man on the
Oh,
field.
yeah, and then he
I
got,
feel like he
yeah.
just refuses to tackle,
Yeah.
like,
Dude loves to get lit up.
or just get juked out of his cleats.
We just have, no pass rush from our defense. Like, Miles was starting to look better this
the more he
week.
plays, the more he gets.
But outside of Trey and Miles a little bit now, it's like I like when we have been
And-
blitzing battle, though.
and the defense didn't look any different adding
No.
Sam Hubbard back.
No.
I thought-
I didn't have
Honestly,
much.
it looked really
Well,
good.
I want to see
thought-
snap count, though.
thought
I looked at
was
saw a
maybe
lot.
a Sam Hubbard problem. With losing him for those 2 games, I thought maybe that's why our run defense was so bad, was because of Sam Hubbard. But he came back and Najee Harris had the best game in the last 2 years, almost.
No, yeah, absolutely, yeah, definitely did.
I want to know this.
That's why this upcoming draft is vital to the success of this team next year and the years forward.
We have to get pass rushers, bro. If you're not going to get any pass rush, we're not going to They have all time to throw.
Especially in our division.
If we're supposed to have one of the best pass, they said, Wilson's supposed to be one of the pass, but then Fryer, tight ends just go off on us. It's like you got to get more pass rush outside of Trey. Nothing's going to help us win if we don't get any pass rush. They're going to have all day to throw.
And it's our secondary is good. Our linebackers are good.
And it's we want to believe in that 4 alignment. It's we want to
winning the
believe in
turnover.
Trey, Hubbard, BJ, and
We're winning the turnover
Reader.
differential in almost every single game.
On paper, that sounds like a good D line. But it's just they get no
It's
pressure.
not the pass rush.
Yeah.
I think Murphy, he's got 2 sacks this year.
I wish we would have kept Basham. We ended up cutting him, but I wanted to see what he could. Obviously he was hurt, but
From a decent, depth piece.
yeah, that's what now that
But,
rotate.
Murphy's playing, I think,
But-
okay.
But after this year, defensive line wise, we lose DJ Reader unless we re-sign him.
Yep.
Which if we don't re-sign him,
So then
we
it's
are
BJ
really
Hill
screwed.
and who?
Oh, yeah,
Tupou
Have
or
to draft.
You would have to draft a really good run.
that, or you
stuffer.
spend.
That's why you can't
every
lose
penny
Reader.
You have of cap on Chris Jones.
You
or
can't
something
lose
like that.
Reader unless you know. No, there's just
Reader's
not.
going to want a bag though.
You think so?
He's the best run defender in the league.
It's a great free agency for him too.
I
Yeah.
think he'll want to stay in
The
Cincy.
Bengals signed him once to make him the highest paid nose tackle.
I think
Yeah,
they'll
he'll
sign
want
him.
to
I don't
stay.
see why they can't do it again.
I think they see how big of a piece of the defense
Well,
is
they better
for
see how
us.
big he is because he's really needed.
Yeah.
I think with the other pass rush issues, I think Cam Sample just moves into 3-tech. He's got the size. His only sack of the year came when he was playing a 3-tech. I think you just move him on the
Like
inside.
more of a strength and speed kind of guy.
Yeah, I think you just move him inside and draft other ends because I'm looking at the sacks and it's.
Like it would have been nice if Zach Carter showed up at D tackle, maybe to like help make us feel a little better. But he hasn't done anything this year. Like Osai hasn't shown any promise.
Osai has 4 total tackles. Murphy
It's
has
just-
11.
I'll tell you what I'm not gonna do is go on a rant or tangent about how play calling is atrocious because some company pays me to talk about football
Oh, yeah,
when I
yeah.
truly don't know much about football myself.
Big Cincinnati guy.
Because truthfully, it's just I just can't get it out of my head how you just want to sit there and bash something that you're passionate about, but you don't sit there and look at it. You just go off of your feelings instead of the true analytics of things. I don't know, it's just in my head right there.
I get it. There's a point where I wanted Zach Taylor fired. I'm like, man, if they don't make it to the playoffs this year, you got to get rid of
Oh,
him.
there's been times where I wanted him fired too.
They went to the Super Bowl that year, so it worked out for me. I'm like, okay, this guy might be the real deal.
I still think we would have obviously made the playoffs if Burrow doesn't get hurt. It's just
100%.
Oh, this year, yeah.
and everybody wants to call for his job now. It's just
You really should never, in my opinion, fire a head coach when their quarterback.
like
is
we were.
hurt. Like that-
You can't fire a head coach after a Super Bowl and then an AFC Championship run.
And look at our division, bro. Like our division's just
That's what I
so
think people
tough.
aren't taking in the account. I mean, Jake Browning faced the 7th best scoring defense in the
Our
league.
division's just so tough.
What do you expect? That's another part. Like,
What do you expect from him?
what do these fans expect to happen when we have a broken team right now internally? I know our culture is great and all, but anyone loses their franchise guy, what's going to happen? Now I get it. The Eagles did it with Nick Foles. Completely different situation, completely different
Yeah,
team.
he was proven beforehand.
Nick Foles was a proven starter and not a proven winner,
that run was literally magical. Like that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, that was.
1 in a million.
that was Doug Peterson magic. That
That's
whole
1 in a
playoff
million.
run.
That
Yeah.
stuff just doesn't happen.
And look at their playoff run. Who they face? Case Keenum.
Yeah.
I don't know who else they played in that playoff run, but
Who did they play in the NFC Championship game?
I don't think it was Rams.
It might have been the Rams. Was it Goff's last year?
They won the Super Bowl in 2017, so no.
So no.
But again, it's just I get it. You can fire the head coach for some things, and like Frank Wright just got fired from the Panthers. Correct move? No. In my opinion, no. Why? It's his first year. He wasn't able to get the players really to build his team. the
Yeah,
way
you
he
got to
probably
give him
wanted.
like another at least one more offseason to get the guys
Especially
he
when
might
you have
want.
a rookie quarterback. You cannot fire a coach with a rookie
Well,
quarterback.
but then you look what the owner's saying. It's like I'm glad for Frank Reich. Get him
Oh, dude,
get him
yeah,
out of
wonderful
there.
situation for him now.
Get him
I
out
would
of there.
hate to coach that team. Their owner sounds idiotic.
Like he throws everybody else kind of under the bus, but then he was like,
And he mentioned, I mean,
He has
if
to
I'm
carry
Bryce
the
Young,
owner.
I'd hate to be Bryce Young, hearing my owner say, oh, yeah, we initially wanted to trade up to the 2nd pick and get C.J. Stroud.
Yep.
Well, that kind of – so, I mean, were you guys debating that number 1 pick?
I
Yeah.
told you, bro. They want.
I'll tell you what, Joe Burrow knows and knew that he was going to be the number 1 pick. No
For a
ifs,
long
ands, or
time.
buts.
for a long time.
He knew going in, outside
in
of
like
that.
March or not March, way before.
He knew way before Mars.
Yeah.
same
I'm
with,
trying to- I
same
didn't
with Trevor
remember.
Lawrence.
Sometimes you just have to, look at it and be like, well, what were they expecting from me? Well, this is exactly what I expected from Bryce Young his first year.
They have a horrible line too. Like I mean,
That's why I'm saying this was what I was expecting from the Panthers team itself because they are not offensively built yet. His receivers are
they need to take
not that good.
They need to take a picture of the Dolphins.
Yeah.
That's what they need. They need speed receivers.
I'm not going to sit here and say Tua is more talented than Bryce Young because he's not.
They need quick receivers.
Quick receivers, better play calling, maybe a better running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
But their offensive line's pretty bad, especially for us. Bryce Young is he's a smaller guy. But you look at Kyler Murray, he can do it.
Yeah, but Kyler Murray's different though. He's just the athlete that Kyler Murray
Yeah.
is. He's just different.
Bryce doesn't run around like he does.
Well, I think it just he was a first round baseball MLB pick too. Like
Yeah.
that's
True athlete.
like that's
He's a
pretty
true
good.
athlete.
Like yeah, like it usually doesn't happen.
Like, I believe Bryce can be successful.
Yeah,
I
I do
do.
too.
I don't see
do
why
too.
not.
I don't think he can be like all pro type guy, but I think his ceiling is probably Pro Bowl.
Definitely. I think he can win a Super Bowl. Not with the Panthers.
Definitely not.
Right now.
Not now.
Right now. And because, after, you see the Bengals had the worst record to the best record, for a Super Bowl team,
Yep.
from, back-to-back years. So I'm like, there's hope for any team, realistically. That's the only thing people forget about Zach Taylor, how he turned an abysmal team into
Like
a Super Bowl
that,
winning.
though.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah, no one wants to like bring that up. It's like, oh,
Well, it's in the past. So
Yeah, after that,
Jake Browning lost us the game.
Literally,
Jake Browning, we lost the game.
literally last year, everybody was like, "Who's going to be the next Bengals?" Like the team that was like not good, and then ended up going to the Super Bowl.
No one.
The next
No
year.
one's done
I
it.
mean, going back to you said like Nick Foles and all that. Like, yeah, he was a proven guy. They beat the Vikings.
I also had a stacked line,
He
bro.
was. They had Sam Bradford, Teddy Bridgewater, Case Keenum.
Case Keenum was a starter. But then again, that Eagles defense was unbelievable that year. too.
Bradford.
Yeah, Sam Bradford. I think he
Name-
was hurt.
But he didn't start. He was
Let's
hurt.
say what?
He was hurt.
yeah, Bridgewater got knocked out that year. I think was that like the first year he got like.
That was the year Bradford got hurt, and I think Bridgewater was hurt also. That's why Case Keenum had that little magical run the Vikings did, because that was the year they had the Minneapolis Miracle.
The Diggs.
Yeah, you're right.
The
So-
Diggs. He chucks his helmet off.
But I definitely say Case Keenum's a better quarterback than
Yeah.
Browning.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I mean, there's a lot of. I think we have. I got to see more of Jake Browning, but as of right now, we probably have one of the worst backups in the league.
What do you think he's gonna have to do to beat Jacksonville?
It comes down to the defense.
You think so? That's it. Just the offense doesn't have to do
When you
anything.
have
Just
when you have a
defense.
backup quarterback, that's what it comes down to.
Defense and running the ball, but we don't run the ball.
I would say
Well, you don't run the ball because we can't run the ball.
it's gonna be tough to run against Jacksonville too. Like, they have a good front seven.
And Jacksonville's a good team too. That's another issue. That's another issue for our schedule too. Like, people need to look at. We do have one of the hardest remaining schedules. The Vikings are no joke. I get it. They just lost versus the Bears. Uncharacteristic game from Josh Dobbs. He's been playing pretty well this season, and they are getting Jay Jettis back. And then you have
Chiefs still. We got the Pittsburgh
Chiefs.
on the primetime
Colts
Saturday.
are no joke. Colts are a
Colts.
good
It's our
team.
playoff team right now.
Minshew mania.
We still got the
He's
Browns
solid.
again, the Steelers
That-
again.
He's like one of the better-ish backups.
So
yeah.
my thing is, like, what are people wanting from the rest of the season? It sounds like people just want to win out.
I want to
playoffs.
see.
But
I
you
wanna-
have, but you as a fan, I get it. You have your hopes, but you also have to be realistic with what cards you are dealt. And the
Right.
cards that Zach Taylor and this staff have been dealt is a backup quarterback, and Joe Burrow hurt most of the year.
Yeah.
And you have T. Higgins, hurt.
It's not like we're in the NFC South.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not.
We're not there.
We're in the best division in the league.
100%.
I just think that there's no way they can make the playoffs.
Not
Yeah,
with
they
our
have to win out.
not with our we ain't beating anybody in tiebreakers except for the Bills.
In the division.
Except for the Bills.
You can't.
Even if we won out, I don't think we make it.
No, so I feel like there's no point in winning any more games. It sucks to say.
I just want to see a lot from the younger guys.
Yeah, I
like
mean,
Development is key.
Development.
Play a ton of younger guys. Play a lot of guys. Let them
Get them some
see
snaps
what
and
they can
stuff.
do.
you got to start looking for next season. Like
Yeah, mostly you just
the-
you lose out. You get a really good pick.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's like Brock Bowers. I love that.
That would be
But
awesome.
you get really good picks. You reset for next year. Burrow comes back. It's time to go win some games. Go back to the Super Bowl
in New Orleans.
Yep.
in New Orleans. So this is
Set up for us.
this is the time to get good draft picks.
Jamar and Burrow return.
I get it. Like, as a fan, like, it's hard to stay positive, but you guys just have to have hopes for next year and just support this year. That's all you can do is just support.
Yeah,
Just-
I mean,
I'm gonna continue supporting Jake Browning for the rest of the year. I'm gonna
Yeah.
continue supporting Zach Taylor. I'm gonna continue supporting Frank Pollock and Brian Callahan just because I do love this team. I mean, that's just what I'm gonna do.
we'll still have some Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, we
Probably-
still have
Trey
guys
will
on
be a
this
Pro
team.
Bowler.
Jamar.
will be a Pro Bowler.
You got to look at it as, like, the players want to win, and you want them to win. You want them to emotionally win, mentally win, and physically win because you don't want to see them hurt and, lose them for next year. also.
Yeah, because that was like Jamar said in his interviews, like, this is the first time I've ever really felt like this, like, because we're 5-6, right? Yeah.
5 and 6.
Yeah.
I mean, he won the national championship in college his rookie year. Obviously, we go to the
Super Bowl, AFC
Last
year,
Championship.
AFC championship. So, yeah, it's a little different. But again, it's not like we're fully healthy just losing.
But
these close
this is
games.
a teachable moment for a lot of our young guys too.
Yeah, they've never really seen it.
And this is a very teachable moment for some of our coaches too. Now Zach Taylor's been through the losing struggles. He went from a Super Bowl with the Rams to the Bengals, rebuilding his whole process. But this is the first time he's having a losing record with his team.
Yeah.
So this is the first time he can sit back and analyze what can we do better next year to not get off to such a bad start outside of injuries.
Well, that and like, can we get this team to where if Burrow were to go down again,
Yeah.
stay afloat? I mean, it does suck when he goes out and we just fall apart. I mean, we're built around him, and we kind of I think we just need to kind of change that a little bit and be built for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm starting to look at it like with like the Chiefs. I forget who said it. I think it was not Nick Wright, but someone else on like ESPN or something. So the Chiefs are taking advantage of Patrick Mahomes because they don't get any talent around him.
Yeah.
They just expect him to you can throw to any receiver you want. So just do it. We're not going to care who the receiver is. But again, the reason why the Chiefs have a winning record is because of their defense.
I still don't know why they didn't bring in like a Jarvis Landry. Like, he's still a free agent and stuff. Like,
My biggest issue is that if they're looking at it and unfortunately business is business, and if T leaves, they're probably going to throw quite a bit of money at him. Just because I truthfully think maybe this is Travis Kelce's last year. The way he's been talking,
The way he's playing.
the way he's been playing, he's not looking like Travis Kelce anymore. He's
Yeah,
still,
right.
He's still good.
it ain't gonna be his last year.
I mean, you just
That report came out, but I don't think it's gonna be his last year.
I
They'll make it a big deal.
Me personally, I think it is.
He has had a long career. I mean, this is what, 10th season, 11th season?
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing like Jason Kelce. I believe this is his last year just because of age.
Yeah.
And obviously, he's still the most dominating center, but injuries do play a part. Of
And I really think
career,
if they can top the Niners, I think they win the Super Bowl this year. The Eagles.
right now, I mean, they're kind of
And they're thinking about bringing Shaq Leonard in, bro. It's like, bruh.
I mean, when you look at the Eagles, too, Hurts, he just doesn't get phased. Like, he had a horrible, horrible first half against the Bills. Horrible. Then he 5 total touchdowns in the second half. Like, flip the script.
That's the other thing people don't realize. Like,
They beat the Chiefs, the Bills, back-to-back weeks, and now they got the Niners this week. So somehow they have all those games at home.
but if you're the Bengals, like, do you try to get an offensive coordinator like Ben Johnson
Like
from the
Like
Lions?
aggressive.
He's gonna,
Aggressive.
yeah.
I do. I think that's kind of what we need. If you look, even when Burrow was healthy this year, we weren't throwing the ball downfield. Like, that's – I feel
Well,
like
the first 4 games were due to the planting of his leg and not being able to get the.
He was throwing more downfield like the last couple of weeks.
ish. But if you look at the actual numbers, it was still, he only threw like, I think it was like 420 or more yards down the field.
The only game this year we had that we really threw it was Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
And Houston.
Yeah, there's a few deep balls against Houston, but it's not what Bengals fans have been accustomed to the last 2 years, which I don't really care if we throw the ball deep or not. As long
Teams
as
are
we just-
adjusting to Jamar.
Just gotta score.
That's why
I
they've
don't
been
care
going
how we
short, bro.
score.
Teams
As long
have
as
just
we
been
score.
You can
adjusting.
dunk your way down
Okay,
there
but
and
as a
score.
fan, it is fun to see that deep ball, though.
Oh, it's awesome.
No, it is, but I'm saying like teams are playing deep on Jamar because they know.
Okay, but we have three other receivers usually on the field, right?
Yeah, but
I'm just saying. Like, checkdowns, you can't win with checkdowns.
I think that's what I hate too. Is
But
people
just a quick game
blame
for
play
Burrow.
calling, but Burrow was checking down the ball quite a bit with a pretty good pocket. So he forced a lot of throws this year too.
he's trying to be a lot smarter, I think. Obviously, he has.
Next year, I think Burrow's really gonna.
The thing is,
He's gonna.
we might get fourth in division, but our schedule's just going to be probably even tougher next year.
No, right
The
now.
NFC East and the
I think
AFC
we're-
West. That's who we play.
Play who next year?
NFC East and the AFC West. Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders.
Cowboys. I'm not worried about Commanders and Giants as much, but
You,
Cowboys.
you
Eagles,
say that, but
tough.
Commanders stay in every game.
I
The Giants,
they're 4 and
but-
7 though. I mean,
45-10 is not staying in a game.
we should definitely be able to beat
And
the Niners.
that's the
Giants.
Cowboys. But then the AFC
We
West.
just played the Cowboys last year.
Lost
Came down to a
We
one
lost by a
possession game.
backup.
Lost to Cooper Rush.
We lost to a backup.
Again, that's Burrow coming off an injury. That's what we.
Is that going to be the
that's-
story again next year?
That's what we. That's one thing we have to avoid.
Can we
is
get a fully healthy
We have to wrap Joe
season,
Burrow in
bro?
bubble wrap before week
Yeah.
1.
Man, gonna be looking like the Michelin Man.
We just can't. I mean, I get it. Injuries do happen to every team.
It just sucks. Why is
It
it always
sucks.
Burrow?
Like I think we can live without T. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it would be really sad to see him go anywhere else. But,
That would be.
but
It's
it's
gonna
like if he's going to want 24, 25
There
mil,
was one play that I keep bringing up to Eric when we talk about like the Bengals game from Sunday is like Yoshi ran a slant and he got the ball and he looked super fast, just from a quick slant up the middle of the field. I was like,
I want to see a lot more
he
Yoshi and
was
Charlie.
a truck
he can be
star.
it, and he was wide open on that deep ball, first play of the game.
He got down there pretty quick too. I mean,
Yeah.
He flew down there.
So I mean, I love T to death, but if he doesn't re-sign, then that's on him.
And then if we don't get Boyd
obviously we
back,
know
too.
the Bengals are going to try.
Yeah, they're
Two.
going to try.
I think you have to bring one of the
But
two
they
back.
also see Jamar's contract coming up,
He's probably going to be
and you can't have 2 max receivers on a contract.
no. You look at like what he could possibly be worth like on Spot Rack.
Talking about T,
Yeah,
he's like what 23?
his age, or
Spell track, by the way.
No, his contract.
Per year.
well per year it's 5.4.
No, expected like what he's going to get.
I think it said 5.4.
Oh, he's going to want more than that.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about him is
Kirk
him
just got
also
17.
missing so many games.
No, 15.9. My
Yeah,
bad.
he's saying
I'm
Kirk
gonna
could
say
I'm
he
dumb.
said 5.4. That's-
Oh, that was Curtis Samuel when I was looking at it earlier.
No.
Curtis Samuel's 5.4. T. Higgins is 15.9.
With T missing a lot
we could pay that.
but with T missing a lot of games, it's like
The
he's
injury
missed
worries.
more than half his games. It's like, okay, well, we can pay you, but we don't want to pay you that much because the odds of you missing are
Yeah.
really high.
If he took what it says right here is calculated market value at 4 years, 63 million, 15, almost 16 a year, that would put him as the 20th highest paid wide receiver
Yeah.
right now.
It's really good.
It's not a bad bag, but
No.
and I think that does make him wide receiver 1 on a lot of teams.
Oh, easily.
So it's
Yeah.
just how he right now he's the 81st paid receiver, but he's still on his rookie contract. So
I mean, I hope he stays, but it's one of those like we just can't overpay for him. He's got too many holes to fill.
I mean, obviously we weren't aggressive to draft him. We let him slide to the second round. If we really wanted him, we would have traded up. That's my thing, and obviously we love him. But I mean, looking at like the free agents next year, I mean they're older. Looking at some of the draft prospects, they're either probably going to be too high of a pick for us for what we need, or as you go down the list, I mean they don't fit our offense as well as we'd like for like a jump ball receiver.
Yeah.
So it comes up to what do we do with them? Obviously, I want to re-sign them. But if you don't re-sign T, you put that money towards defensive line.
Yeah.
Like I think someone mentioned before we started, Chris Jones. Throw a bag at him. He would turn this defense instantly into top 5. Colton's laughing.
No,
about
I
it, but-
agree. I just the Bengals will never freaking.
Well, no,
never
they
sign
won't,
Chris
but
Jones. That man's
you
gonna
ha-
want like full, not obviously full, but man's gonna want a lot guaranteed. That's just how Chris Jones' character is.
I mean,
The way he's taking it with the Chiefs, it's just like,
that's kind of how the NFL is going, though. Like everybody wants the guaranteed money,
yeah.
but it's gonna be a tough decision.
So I'm just saying, like
Teams
another
are gonna
market
offer T more
that
than what we do, and
Yeah.
I think it's gonna come down to does he want to stay in Cincinnati or not?
it's gonna depend on who's throwing him the ball.
And it's not
Those
because
teams, though.
we're not going to give him what he's worth. It's just kind of what the Jaguars did with Christian Kirk. You're paying a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3, wide receiver 1 money. Obviously, Christian Kirk's worked out for the Jaguars so far, but like I can see a team like the Panthers maybe, just throw in money at a player they don't really need. Kind of like Hayden Hurst, what they did with Hayden Hurst. They
Yeah.
threw a lot of money at Hayden Hurst. He doesn't even get the ball.
I wouldn't
He's
say
not
they
even
didn't need him
schemed
though.
in.
At the time, like going into the season, they probably thought they could maybe be a sneaky
Yeah.
team. Like
But
they
if-
brought in a lot of vets. Vaughn's been hurt this season. Hayden was hurt. Like
But I think if knowing that you were going to draft Bryce Young, which I guess now looking back,
it was like a good veteran tight
their
end
owner
for you.
came out and said we didn't really know. But if knowing you were going to get Bryce Young, you probably should have brought in free agents for him. Like, you know what I mean? Kind of.
I think Hayden was a good tight end for him. Though.
No, yeah, but like I
If
don't
he
know. I just
just
think
get
they should
him
have
the
brought
ball.
in some other players.
Like we'll be top 10 in cap space next year. And I think you have to utilize that next year with Burrow's contract coming up a few years after that heavily. Like you have Titans number 1, Commanders, Patriots, Colts, Texans, Bengals. As I see it, there's one NFC team, top 5. So AFC again, going to be heavy spenders. Patriots are going to spend. They're probably going to get a new head coach with Belichick leaving. So obviously they're probably going to spend more on the offensive side of the ball typically than what they did with the defense.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, I think they drafted QB. I don't think they were.
Titans are going to roll with Will Levis and try to get him weapons. T could go back home to Tennessee if he wanted to because they have the money.
Yeah, I didn't even kind of think about that. That does make sense too.
I mean, they have the money to do it. Unfortunately, then you have the Commanders. They're a young team with some talent at Sam Howell. They can make a splash in signing. Colts, they got Anthony Richardson. They're going to be signing. Texans, they have C.J. Stroud. They're going to be signing.
Yeah, they know. They're looking at them like, yeah, we got to make moves.
Chicago Bears have 2 picks in the top 5 right now.
If the Texans were to get T, that'd be gross.
The thing is, like, what kind of package do you think you could even get for that? Like, if you were to, like, say, all right, we got the first and, like, say, 5th pick. Like, you could really, like, if you wanted to, keep one of them and trade back or on the other one. Bears could, I could see actually.
Especially,
making
like, if
moves.
I'm the Bears, I would trade back.
And Poles is like an active G.
Yeah.
He likes to make a lot of trades.
Because, I mean, they do have the 7th most in
Yeah.
cap next year.
I mean, I'm keeping one of those top 5 picks.
Probably well, depending on what I don't know what they're feeling with Justin Fields, but obviously.
I think they're going to keep him.
If, like, they have the number 1 pick and Caleb Williams enters the draft, I mean,
I think
you
they
have
still
to.
rock with Fields.
They're going to keep Fields.
I just think, like, you keep one of your top 5 picks because you can get a franchise.
They're going to take Marvin
Caliber
Harrison with
player.
Fields. It's going to be Marvin,
You
DJ.
trade that back and you could get a boatload. It's a very heavy skill position draft.
Jonathan Gannon's going to have his 2nd year with a top 10
Yeah.
cap space.
And with Kyler back, I
Yeah.
think they're going to keep Kyler too.
They'll get him a weapon probably.
If Bears actually go Caleb, then I think Cardinals get Marvin. That'd be gross.
Yeah, I think.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't think the Bears are going to go Williams.
Near do I. I think they get Marvin. They get Justin a weapon. Besides,
But
DJ.
Marvin might not even enter the draft either.
Yeah, he is.
Yes, he will. They all say this kind of stuff. They're going to enter. They're not passing on this money. I mean,
I
they
don't
obviously in
I don't
college you can make
remember
money
any
now. but-
top pick saying, I'm not going to enter the draft. Marvin Harrison loves Ohio State, and he really wants to beat Michigan, and he really wants to win a Big Ten championship. I wouldn't blame him for going back.
He's not going to go back.
They better get a quarterback if he's going back.
Caleb Williams could hit the transfer portal.
That'd be funny.
That'd be disgusting if you put them on in college together like that.
They're like, we got to remind you fools.
Yeah, especially with Ohio State's defense every year. I mean, it would be pretty good.
Yeah.
But that's like the Lions have the 8th most cap next year. That's a
Dang,
problem.
man.
That's a problem. That's a problem for a lot of teams because you look at the Lions.
They always make moves.
They are one of the most dangerous teams in the NFL right now. Yeah, they dropped against the Packers, but
Division game.
division game, they wax and give us moon. So it's 0-13 with the wax and give us moon on Thursday.
Thanksgiving, man. Thanksgiving curse.
Yeah, we all sat there and watched that game. That was
I
horrible.
would love to see the Lions straight up to get a quarterback.
I think they believe in
could.
Goff.
They
I
could.
would love
They
to-
like believing in Goff. I think they're
I
believing.
like Goff, but I feel like
But golf's not your long-term answer,
he's
though.
not your long-term answer, and I feel like you
Nah.
could
And this,
if you get someone.
again, like
Campbell's guy.
there's a lot of quarterbacks in this draft that are, that could be top guys. Drake May.
That
I
and,
mean,
Lions could be the ability to kind of sit behind golf too.
That's what I was about to say. I think this would be a big year where a lot of the quarterbacks that do get drafted won't automatically just be stars. They'll sit
Which is
behind.
good, man. Like
They'll
it's
sit
honestly
behind.
killing- it's
Probably
killing
on-
a lot
It's
of
good
them.
for some, bad for others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whoever the Raiders draft, I mean, they're starting.
Oh, yeah,
100%.
right away.
Yep.
What do the Vikings do?
They're looking into Jaden Daniels and I forget who else I said before.
Because they're going to get a medium pick.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of quarterbacks. I think Jaden Daniels would be a fun quarterback. Kind of reminds me of RG3.
I think people. I was watching like a TikTok. Obviously, it's like this is something different, but it was like his main flaw is like apparently like protecting the ball.
Like fumble wise.
Mm-hmm.
What pick do the Raiders have?
Probably right around.
They're gonna keep
Yeah,
winning
something
games
12,
though. They're not gonna keep losing.
That's the thing.
They're being
the Raiders are
competitive.
going to keep winning.
Maybe not like a lot, but they're gonna keep like moving up slowly,
They'll
a little
probably
bit, a little
finish- They'll
bit.
probably
But
finish like 8, 9, 7.
I think between 10 and 15.
Right now, Vegas has the
like pick wise.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
right now
talking-
Vegas has the 11th pick
Yeah.
at 5-7, but I think they're going to continue winning, like
Yeah.
you said, because I mean they put up a good game against the
Against
Chiefs up
Chiefs,
until
yeah.
the second half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Mahomes took over.
Yeah, and then was it the week before, one loss or one possession game to the Dolphins, which they
But
caused the Dolphins to turn the ball over quite a bit.
They're playing
the
for
Raiders
Pierce.
make a noise.
They're playing hard, yeah.
You know, they fired Josh McDaniels, and then they got a brand new team and a brand new culture already. And you know, Antonio Pierce, I mean, he should be the coach next year, 100%, without a doubt.
I mean, I think you at least give him a 1 year deal. Like let him
Yeah.
let
Yeah,
him
let
kind of
him
have
do
it
it
for
long.
the full season just to see, and then if it works, it works.
Okay, you mentioned how like quarterbacks are going to sit next year, but like the Patriots have the third pick. That quarterback's not sitting.
They're
Oh,
not because they're done with Mac and
What
Mac's
I
done.
just don't know what team.
You know,
would
Mac was
pick a
ranked
quarterback.
85th best NFL player going
If
into
Kirk
this
were to
season.
come back, I
Just-
think the Vikings would probably maybe still draft a quarterback.
Bro,
If you're the Jets,
listen
do
to
you
this.
draft quarterback?
I want Kirk to go to Atlanta.
Do you draft quarterback? If I mean, you right now
Probably
there's
draft lineman. You probably drafted lineman.
I
Who?
don't think they'll
Jets.
go
Oh.
quarterback.
I would draft a lineman.
No,
they?
they're not going to go quarterback. Maybe late rounds, but they're not going to go quarterback.
Spencer Rattler.
Rogers is going
Next
to
yet?
Rogers is going to play.
I'm saying they're
next year.
banking on next year. Then
Rogers is going to play.
Yeah, he's already.
well, obviously
yeah,
he's
already
playing.
back.
Obviously he's playing.
Get a quarterback this year, sit him, let him learn behind Rodgers, which would be amazing.
You think they're done with Zach Wilson then, even though he would be the backup?
They'll keep him as a
I think they'll
backup.
keep him as backup. Just because I think
That's why I don't think they're going to draft
Aaron
anybody.
Rodgers has a big endorsement towards him for some reason, and I think Zach Wilson could turn into something decent.
I mean, he's a good backup.
Yeah,
You don't want him starting 10 games for you.
No.
but I think Matt Eberflus gets fired by the Bears, so I think they get a new coach.
Yeah. I don't know why, but it just kind of been in my head. I think Bieniemy would be fun in Chicago.
Yeah,
I think Harbaugh is going to
He would have a
Chicago.
field day with him, I feel like.
Jim.
Hmm. I think Harbaugh's coming back to the league this year. This summer is the
Does Bieniemy get his quarterback, though?
Harbaugh go
That's
to
what
New
That's
England.
what I mean. Like he would have 2 top 5 picks probably.
I wanted to see
Top 10
Vrabel leave
picks.
and go back there, but they said they're keeping him in
Just
Tennessee, obviously.
To the Lions?
I think if you're a head coach like in the carousel, Chicago would definitely be like a hot pick for me. You're gonna have 2 top 5 picks probably. I mean,
My thing is, though, I think Washington. I think Washington fires Ron Rivera,
no, I think Bieniemy's their guy for sure.
I
and
think
Washington
it is.
hires Bieniemy.
Yeah.
So I think that's their move. And Colton mentioned Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh is a perfect fit for the Patriots. Keep the cheating alive there.
Someone's got to do it.
I'm not an Ohio State fan.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a UC fan, and I don't think Jim Harbaugh cheated.
I don't
This
think-
year.
I don't think he. Well, they said he didn't know about it, which I guess I could believe.
Yeah, right.
Every team
It
has
seems a
scouts
little
like that,
rough, yeah.
but you can't say that. Like I didn't know about it. Come on, man. Like you're the head coach.
As far as I see, he didn't do anything wrong.
I mean, yeah.
He put in the work to get those stolen signs. It wasn't easy.
Man was dressed up.
Dude, you paid people. Paid for the tickets, their flights, paid them to do it.
There's a reason he was suspended,
Oh, obviously, yeah.
but yeah, I mean, Belichick. You think Belichick actually gets another coaching job though? Like,
Chargers.
it'd just be so weird to see that man on a different team.
I
Well, that's
think if he leaves, it's going to be the Chargers too. But it's
But would
like,
he want to though?
That's
That's
what
the
I
thing.
mean,
Like,
like-
would he want?
he
to continue coaching?
goes to the Raiders and works for Brady. Brady has like that.
I could
part
see
ownership
Chargers
shit.
because they already have a franchise guy.
No, that's why I think Chargers. If
He's
he
like,
were
I
to
don't
go
have
anywhere,
Mac Jones anymore,
yeah,
so I
he's
can
like I got
definitely go to
Herbert who can
Chargers.
carry me, but
I feel like he's done.
You think so?
I don't think
I
he's
just-
done.
I feel like
if you leave,
I wouldn't be surprised if he said after this year, when the season's over, he's like, I'm done.
Yeah, he's not a guy to have like a farewell tour, so it would definitely be like nonchalant.
I don't
when the
know.
season's
He's
over.
a single man. He has a lot of time.
and he loves football. I mean,
Football is his blood.
I know from the video I've seen, I think he's good.
You know what that-
I think he's just dumb.
gonna do
I think he's
from
just
now
dumb
That
with
ring
Mac Jones.
camera
bro.
video.
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing.
on. I think it'll be okay if he quit football.
I think it was Boston Connor on Pat McAfee. He's like, "What's wrong with the guy just going out?"
Shirtless and everything.
Shirtless. Yeah. He's like, "Well, you guys know." He's like, "You guys never take a piss off your porch."
Yeah, I feel like he's done. If the Patriots, well, I don't think the Patriots are going to fire him. I think they're going to agree to that.
Mutual
Already.
agreement.
Here,
probably.
look, let's just run through the teams that are getting rid of their coaches: Bears,
Bears, Patriots,
Patriots, Washington,
Chargers.
Giants.
No,
No,
Dabble's.
no.
He just won Coach of the Year.
I've heard there's a lot of
Nah.
frustrations
When it was Tommy
inside.
Bro,
Vito
he
got
ain't
sick,
going.
like-
He ain't going
I heard
nowhere.
there's a lot of issues there.
I'd
with
put
the
a lot of
Giants.
money that he ain't going
I don't
nowhere.
think he leaves now. I don't.
They love him in New York. He ain't going nowhere.
I think-
New York stuff on people.
I think Todd Bowles is gone from Tampa, not because of him.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would say
they're-
the
they're-
Raiders, just because you don't know if they're going to actually hire.
That's
I
not a
don't
problem
think.
with
I
the
don't think
Raiders.
they'll bring him.
Like,
They should have. They
Bisaccia
should have
definitely deserved that
Bisaccia.
job, but you don't know.
I think Bisaccia was more of a better coach than Pierce,
Well, so did
and
the last
Pierce
guy.
didn't bring it brought back.
Sasha, that's what we're talking about.
It's just they don't. I mean, it is kind of not. I wouldn't say unfair because he's a player, but like when you don't have a lot of like coaching experience, they don't like to make big decisions like that, which kind of sucks.
He's getting his guys to play that.
100%.
Buffalo?
I think he should be the guy.
Buffalo.
I agree. I mean, it's just funny to hear that. Like McDermott probably gonna be fired. He should be. I think. Or do you think they just roll with the offensive coordinator? Was the problem?
They said it early on that the not the Bears, the Bills didn't make the playoffs. I mean,
They're
hot
6-6, bro.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
And they have still a
Yeah,
tough schedule. They still got to play the Chiefs. No,
I
they
mean-
do.
I mean, look how
Did they just
look how
play
big
the
of a
Chiefs?
downfall
Or they
the
still got
defense
playing?
took this year with him taking over as play caller.
and that was his thing.
That's his thing. Last year they were good and they had the same amount of injuries on defense as they do this year. So obviously it's a McDermott issue.
I mean, you got to think McDermott made a man lose his job because of him.
Yeah.
He definitely deserves to be gone after this year, no doubt.
Arthur Smith.
I would say yes, but dude, they could win that division. So
I think they're winning that division, even though they're
Yeah,
5
but
and
like
6. I mean,
I don't know, like East Central football team could win that division. It's kind of tough.
I mean, yeah, but if you win the division, make the playoffs,
Yeah, but
why
they-
fire your coach? I mean, yeah, he doesn't have a winning record, but if you're winning your division, and you're
There's
making
just
the
small little
playoffs-
things you need to fix, like players wise,
Yeah,
or
but-
maybe a little
and
personnel.
If you're the owner, like you're still making the playoffs. So like, in the like, grand scheme of things, you probably really don't care that you're 8.
I don't know. Maybe he should be fired because Pitts
No, I agree.
is
He doesn't use
in
Bijan
jail right
really
now.
either.
That's the
Dude,
one thing. That's one thing I see with Atlanta is like, yeah, they're 5-6. They still have a losing record, but they're in the wild card.
Yeah.
You can't look at your record and your playoff chances just because of the downfall of other teams.
Another. Go ahead.
Is
Sorry.
Arthur Smith.
You gotta
making
think.
all the plays.
Atlanta has
I
a
think
losing
so.
record with a healthy team.
Yeah.
Vikings have injuries.
Well, sort of healthy. I mean, they've been going back and forth with their quarterback
Quarterback,
stuff, but
They could take. I think they take quarterback too.
That's definitely a team to look
I,
out for.
I think also the Saints. Dennis Allen's probably he was on
Me and Colton were talking like Kirk and Atlanta.
to Atlanta would be sick.
No.
What? What do you mean no?
That division's like full of like giving guys another chance. Like,
I just can't imagine him in that uniform.
I mean, they would be.
That'd be such a weird looking uniform
They're
for him.
8-3 with Kirk right now.
I think Smith might be gone. He does call the plays, and him not getting a top 5 pick in Pitts.
His schematics confuse me.
Because Johnny's balling.
You have Pitts, and then that Cowboys corner has more touchdowns than
Bland.
Pitts does.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on now. How does Pitts have nothing?
Or it's like he said you get your first round tight end to block so your second tight end can
30 or 30.
decoy, or your second tight end can throw to your third string tight end.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that makes
And
so
I
much
saw,
sense.
I saw something on Twitter. It's like, oh, Atlanta should definitely draft Brock Bowers just to use him as a decoy.
Just to say,
Oh, I'd be
screw you to the league.
I'd be so
Yeah.
mad.
I would be. Oh, I can't even tell you how I feel. That'd be.
I mean, there's memes being made about it. I mean, there's something.
It's just.
I mean, Pitts had 1,000 yards his rookie year.
1 touchdown.
Like,
Yeah.
he's
Not
a-
even in
Not
America.
America, yeah.
He's just he's
Overseas.
just a freak athlete, though. Like, I just don't get why they don't use him. Doesn't make
He-
sense.
It's Arthur Smith.
He
and
is up there
Aston.
in targets though for him. I think he's like second in targets for them.
I think it all comes down to quarterback play, too, though.
Yeah, I'm a
Quarterback play's
big
huge.
I am a big Desmond Ritter fan because I'm a big UC fan, but NFL he just hasn't translated to the NFL.
He's had his moments, but
Yeah.
then it's like
But he's not going to be able to.
he can't be the same consistently every week.
The thing like with the NFL is like you can have your moments, but
Yeah.
it's consistency at the end of the day.
Yep.
It's winning football. It's like Cordell Olson had his best game against Cameron Hayward Sunday.
Yeah.
No one's talking about it because we lost.
I know. I
But-
think I texted you guys. I was like, I totally forgot Cam Hayward's like healthy today. I was
But
like,
nobody cares because we lost. But again, one bad game doesn't make up for 3, or one good game doesn't make up for 3 or 4 bad games.
Yeah, you have to string them together. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the issue. He's so off and on. He's hot, and then he's just hot garbage for 4 straight games.
I mean, you hear what Brady's saying, the mediocrity in the NFL.
And it's like, someone went off on TikTok about it. They were like you just played in this current NFL.
I think I saw that
like
too.
you just saw what this NFL
No.
is.
Last
Yeah,
year.
you were in the Super Bowl like 4 years
Like
ago.
I don't.
not
I'm
even,
like,
or however
well,
many
if
years
he's
ago.
saying that, then obviously there's some truth to it.
I mean, I would say
He won the Super Bowl at like what, 43 years old.
injuries is bigger. I feel like I don't know the actual numbers. It just kind of seems like there's been a lot more injuries the last couple of years.
Especially this year. It seems like almost every, not every
That,
team.
I mean,
but
that kills the product. I mean, a lot of these primetime games, these big games, would be a lot better.
you know what kills the product is refereeing. That
Well, that
kills
too,
the
but-
product.
Officiating has killed it.
That's things that you can control. I'm talking injuries.
People still want to blame the turf. I feel like, but I don't think it's the turf.
I don't know, man. MetLife. Maybe not the.
MetLife's garbage. That's the.
Maybe
worst
it's not the
stadium we've
turf.
got.
Maybe it's something about there. I think it's.
New Jersey.
I think it's
The lights.
a curse.
It's New Jersey.
I think it's cursed. Like Jalen Phillips popped his
Oh man, that
Achilles,
sucks.
like just going off from the jump.
That sucks.
I think it's not. I don't think that's a turf problem. I think that's just
I mean, let's get that Rogers treatment.
Let's get rid of MetLife. Just
get rid of
build a
MetLife.
whole new stadium. Build it in New York this time.
in New York.
Get it out of Jersey.
Looking at games this week, I mean, I don't know if I have.
I didn't have one.
I got one. I got Broncos at Texans.
I was gonna take that. It's a
mean-
good one.
Mr. Unlimited versus
That's actually a good one because the Broncos are on a heater.
versus a Texans team who just came off a tough loss.
They should have like made it go to
Should maybe
OT.
overtime, yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Amendola, you're expecting him to make that kick.
I'm gonna go ahead and make my pick. I'm taking the Broncos.
Ooh, okay.
Clipping it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He said, "Go ahead."
Remember when Kerry's like, "Oh, I picked
The
the
Texans. He'll be like, I took Texans.
No, I'm taking Russ.
He'll be like, I swear I
I
took.
rode with Russ last season, all fantasy, and the man cost me multiple games.
Okay, I got a game now. Chargers at Patriots.
That's your game of the week.
Yeah.
Patriots.
Bill's current team versus Bill's new team.
I was also gonna take that one.
My game of the week is San
Was
Fran
that-
at
was that
Philly.
reason?
That's an easy
Yeah.
one.
Two
That's gonna be-
two powerhouses of the NFC. Maybe a preview of the NFC ship.
Probably the two best teams in the league.
Yeah, I think Philly
100%. Why is that a 425 game?
Yeah, flex that bad boy to
because
Sunday Night
that's what they
Football.
do for game of the week. Game of the week's
So everybody can watch
425. Yeah. I don't know why that wouldn't be like the
Sunday
Sunday
night
night game.
game.
Like that's the game of the week.
That should be game. Dude,
But they
should
do
have
the
flexed
game of
2
the
weeks
weeks,
ago.
they do.
2 weeks ago.
I wish
looking-
we weren't playing on Monday Night Football. I don't want the whole world to watch Jake Browning just.
Yeah, dude, that's. I didn't even think about that. It's like the whole world.
Flexing?
They start flexing like 2 weeks before.
You have to like flex. You have to like do.
You have to
it,
flex
like,
2 weeks before the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they should have done that.
They should have flexed it.
Well, Burrow just no. It's been 2 weeks. Yeah, so
They could have
yeah.
flexed after
That's what I'm
that.
saying.
I don't know.
We're about to watch the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Dog us.
Maybe. Again, it comes down to the
Nah.
defense. It just comes down to the defense.
And I think if we can get Trevor Lawrence, when he gets hit, he's not the same guy.
I got a game of the week. Give me Panthers, Tampa Bay. Taking the Panthers.
Hey,
Oh.
hey, Bryce Young revenge tour to win the division.
Against
Tampa Bay
against that
defense.
Tampa Bay's defense.
Tampa
Yeah,
Bay's defense is so bad. Bryce Young's have a field day.
I hope so. I have him in fantasy.
I need him to throw to Thielen.
I traded for him in fantasy.
Do we have any like big fantasy guys we need to go off this week? Let's see. I clinched the playoffs in one league. So who do I need to go off? Oh,
I need Bryce
Tank
to go off.
Dell. I need a big game from Tank Dell.
And who are they playing? The Panthers? No.
Broncos.
No,
Broncos.
Ain't gonna happen.
Ooh,
Ain't gonna
Broncos
happen.
defense been stepping
Yeah, I
up.
know, that's
so.
the
Broncos
problem.
defense has been
Yeah, but I
scary.
mean, Stroud looks good though. I mean,
I just picked up Pat Fryermuth because Dallas Goedert's hurt still, and my other tight end's on a bye. So
picked him up last week.
I just picked him up right for the Bengals game. He dogged at 22
did you
points.
start him?
Yeah. Man, dog. The guy.
Pick up of the week is
The guy who
Pat
dro-
Fryermuth.
the guy who dropped him was the guy I was playing.
Oh, no.
So he dropped 22 against him, and oh man, I'm making a playoff push right now.
Yeah,
I had a little revenge tour out there.
I was like, of course. I was like, why'd you drop him? He's like, he hasn't done anything all year. I was like, yeah, he's about to play the Bengals.
I
And
continue
they
looking
just
at these
fired Matt Canada.
Thursday night games, and if I'm Amazon, I am suing the NFL.
They just give him like, oh,
Thursday night game for my sake.
Like, dude, these games are. I mean, Seahawks at Cowboys.
That'll be
on
good.
them.
that'll be a good game. Well,
I don't know. The
see.
Seahawks haven't looked good in the last two games.
Kenneth Walker is probably gonna be out
yeah,
again.
he's not gonna play. He's doubtful.
Charbonnet is all right, but he ain't
Well,
no Kenneth
and
Walker.
I mean, Gino's kind of taken.
Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking about Thursday night games, should going forward, obviously the NFL does not care about player safety.
I don't think there should be Thursday night games.
No.
No, I think there should be, but only coming off a bye.
Okay,
So both teams would have to be coming off the bye.
Yes, I mean 2 teams do get a bye typically.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you figure out a way for player safety. I mean, if the players are coming out and saying, "Well, it's really bad for your body," then it's probably really bad for their body.
Yeah.
I don't care what statistics say. If it goes off with the players.
It shortens their rehab, like their weekly rehab.
Yeah. So I think coming off the bye is the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll obviously be tougher, but
I think if they were to do anything, they would probably just take it Thursdays out. They're like a lot of players are pushing. They don't like the Thursday. Well, actually, the Kelseys like it because it's like a little mini bye week. But
I think it's just I don't think players like it because they're
Yeah,
coming off
off
a
the
game
game,
5
yeah.
days earlier.
especially if you play like Sunday night football or Monday night, like I don't know how many
don't
they
think
do
that-
that,
I
but
don't
They
think
can't
they
do
ever
that.
do that.
They can't do that.
I think they do Sunday night. Maybe not Monday, but they
maybe
do Sunday
night,
nights
Yeah,
to
But-
Thursday
yeah,
nights.
because usually isn't like Thursdays walkthroughs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're not. You have to ramp up everything. You're pretty much those 2 days.
You don't get your off
You're
day.
rehabbing.
You don't get your off day if you like.
But like the Cowboys here, Cowboys and Seahawks, they got a full week. They got a full break.
Yeah, because they play Thanksgiving.
Yeah. They got a full break this Thursday night. So hopefully we don't see any injuries in that game. Well, I don't want to see
Yeah,
injuries in any
never,
game,
yeah.
but I'm just saying like I think the best way to make Thursday night games work is giving the team a
That's,
bye
yeah,
week.
that's a really good idea.
Not my idea. I saw someone else post
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. It's all good.
But I'm trying to find, other games where when they play. Like the Panthers, okay, they played on the 5th against the Colts. Then they played the 9th
4 days.
against the Bears.
4 days.
That's
Were they home and then away?
That's what I say. A lot of the
They were-
teams are
they were-
Sunday to Thursday.
for that Colts game. They were home. And they were also home for that
Okay.
Thursday night game
I
too.
mean, that's not. It's still not
As
good,
bad,
but like
but-
at least you didn't have to leave.
But 4 days, I mean, you think what do you have for rehab?
You're
A
literally
day?
You're rehabbing the whole week. I mean, you're not.
Well,
even
you
really-
can't say whole week because you get 3 days.
Yeah, and then you try to game plan. Damn, that is
Like
that
you
is
because you
tough.
have to go in the building the next day after you play a game.
Yeah.
You have to rehab your body, and then you have to go through practice, and then you have to go through walkthroughs, continue rehabbing your body, I don't know if they do continued workouts or not throughout the those 3 days.
I would say probably not as intensive.
Yeah, I would assume almost every day it's like a walkthrough.
You would I mean,
'Cause
yeah.
I assume they're not going to make you like practice after you just
Yeah.
played a game.
Yeah, I mean, you're literally getting in multiple car crashes, like depending on the position, obviously, but
That's another thing. I don't think the NFL knows. I mean, I think they know how physical the game is, obviously, but
it's a business, man.
that's another problem. Like with like the business aspect of the NFL is probably one of the worst aspects of the NFL, just because like the refs aren't unionized and they don't. The NFLPA is the only one really going out to try to solve any problems, and not the NFL itself, which is just an entertainment company. And then the NFL also doesn't want to be an entertainment company because if you're having too much fun, then they're fining you $50,000 and.
It's like they want to put on this spectacle, but as soon as you show emotion, they like to nix it.
Yeah.
And then when you complain that it's getting controlled by the refs in big moments, you get, shut out, fined, the Pat McAfee treatment.
Yeah. And, I mean, do you guys have any closing remarks? I mean, we're
No, I mean,
having a pretty good
yeah, it was just
hour-long episode.
kind of like, obviously we're not getting as much in depth with the Bengals just because obviously injuries and the way the season's going, but we're talking more ball, which I like.
And obviously, I mean, we want to be Bengals first, but as of right now, I mean, from what the emotions we're seeing on Twitter and from other fans outside of that, it's just any positivity you talk or any negativity you talk, it's you might as well just be pointing a gun at yourself.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think we usually do about like 15 to 20 minutes on the Bengals, either whether it's the recap, then the preview, and then we talk about break down what's the big highlights of the NFL, and then just like we've been doing, like we'll start getting into our draft prospects and stuff like that.
Like this episode today, I think we all got carried away with the Zach Taylor stuff because, I mean, we obviously all love him.
And we just kind of
As, the culture builder he did and all that. And this week on Twitter just has not been good for anyone, in my opinion. It just, I hate to see fans of the same culture and all that arguing, but
it comes with it.
Yeah.
It's what social media is all about, and that's
Obviously,
the toxicity.
Well, I mean, it's like we try to
of
stay
it.
positive with the Zach Taylor stuff, and it's like, oh, well, are you dumb or stupid?
Yeah.
Why would you think that?
Yeah.
And then you try to present facts, and there's like, well, you're dumb. It's like, okay, then will you tell me how? Like, why?
Yeah.
Well, I think us four, just in general, are like like to keep it real. We don't like to. We're not trying to like BS and like trying to make up and say like, oh, we think we can still make a Super Bowl run with this team. It's like no
Super Bowl run, and I don't want to say like.
And like people think it's just the coach that could fix it.
No, I don't want to, but it's just.
Well, it's the people just think that you can just fire the coach, and that's the problem. Like the Antonio Pierce, like they think if we fire Zach, we're gonna like just go on a winning streak, and everything's just gonna change.
That's another thing. Like they look at like other teams, like, well, they're doing it, but their situation is.
The Vikings are doing it. The Ravens did it. It's like
the Browns are doing it. They're
like, bro, chill out.
They're a different team. Yeah. They are different.
Those teams can run the ball.
Kevin Stefanski's definitely not as good as a coach as Zach Taylor. Yeah. Kevin O'Connell, I think he's good.
He's a good coach.
Good coach. I like Kevin O'Connell.
He gets the most out of his players.
John Harbaugh, I like a John.
They can run the ball and have great defenses.
John Harbaugh's a special teams guy. He came off of special teams coach.
He's a lifelong NFL guy too, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's been, played in the NFL, been in the NFL. Did he play NFL? Or was his brother? Jim was the quarterback for the Colts, right?
Yeah, I thought they both played.
I think they both played though.
I don't think.
But the point is, they are lifelong NFL guys.
Big football guys.
Yeah, big football guys, and that's what Zach is. Zach's a football guy. Zach wants to succeed. If Zach feels like he needs to give up play calling, he'll give up play calling. Do I feel like he needs to give up play calling? Sure. To Brian Callahan, no.
I would like to see 1 year.
And I think that's 1 year without him play calling.
Maybe not 1 year without him. I like to see 1 year with a new coordinator, see what they can do.
Yeah.
And if they have the right guys out there and everything's looking good, it's just the play calling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, give the guy you just hired the reins, let him call plays.
Played 14 years.
And see what he can do.
Who played 14 years?
Harbaugh.
John did?
John.
Who did he play for?
He was the Bears, Colts, Ravens, and Chargers.
Quarterback.
Okay.
Career.
Let Jim play.
He won comeback player of the year in
Did Jim
'95.
not play?
Oh, I think
John.
I think we
Flipped it.
him. I think we flipped him.
No,
No,
they
he
both
did.
played. Harbaugh played 15.
seasons. Bears.
So they both played 14,
What
15
Jim play?
seasons.
Why is it saying?
Okay, Gary.
No, look it up. I'm telling you. It literally said the same thing.
Let's say he's a coach of Michigan.
This guy.
Future Patriots coach.
Jim Harbaugh stats. Quarterback.
They played for the exact same
Yeah,
teams? Nah.
it's pulling up the same thing for both of them. I think Jim was the quarterback though.
Or did they just have a Carson Palmer, Jordan Palmer relationship with football?
You could
Yeah, I'm
probably
pretty
click
sure
on
it was
Wikipedia.
Jim
Obviously,
that played
It's Wikipedia, but
all of that.
you could probably go on like StatMuse.
Yeah, I'm not really gonna do that right now though.
All right.
Okay. Looking at John Harbaugh's coaching record, running back, outside linebackers coach, tight ends coach, special teams all the way.
9 years of special teams, I think.
I did not know that John Harbaugh coached UC.
Wow.
John Harbaugh was the special teams coordinator from 89 to 96 at UC.
Man's a Bearcat.
I did not know that. Holy crap.
That's cool.
A lot of coaches get their start, I feel like, with like UC or something like that.
And then he was
A lot of
a special teams coordinator with the Eagles from 98 to 2007. They took over from Baltimore from there. And again, John Harbaugh inherited a winning culture, winning team. That's not a lot of people don't realize, like some of these more successful coaches are already inheriting
Yeah.
a successful team.
Or they're coming from like a successful system.
Yeah. Whereas Zach, he had to build this team, build this culture.
I don't think John played.
No, I think
I'm
John-
trying to look up
Jim was
John,
the-
and John's
Jim was
just
the
popping up as
Yeah.
John Havlicek. So, yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if anyone's like, I don't know if we're there yet where people's watching this long, but obviously if people are, just continue rooting for the Bengals. Obviously, don't hop off the bandwagon. And I don't want to see people hopping on next year. I just think you have to stay real with what the current aspect of the game is.
If you're a fan, you have to stick through the days like this. And
Yeah. I'll continue repping my jersey every
I mean,
Sunday.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
still
Well,
gonna be
Monday now, but
competitive.
Yeah.
Like we're still gonna.
We're still going to be in games, but they could easily be out of them if they don't play the way they should.
Yeah, defense is gonna have to start showing up, and our players. Look at Jamar this week; he showed up.
my thing is I'm not going to be as hurt when a loss comes around.
Yeah.
No,
No,
we're still going to go to the games.
Yeah,
gonna
we're
work
still
here.
going to go to every game, home game, and I'm not, going to sit there and be like, well, that really sucks.
Yeah,
I'm going to be like, well,
we
yeah, I'm like, wow, that sucks, but let's look at who did good and who did bad. Look at it as, this is a time to analyze.
That's the thing. Like, I'm still going to love the Bengals right now.
What's going to be good for next year?
I'm rooting for individual performances now.
Yeah.
I still think losing out, best thing you can do. Retool for next year. It's a lot of good people in this draft that can really help you.
That's like when we
Tight
lost to,
end.
I was a little hurt losing to the Steelers just because that's just the one
I
team.
Team I
still
thought we
want
could
to
beat.
Pittsburgh.
That's just the one team I want to beat.
I want the Bengals at least win 3 more. Pittsburgh twice, Baltimore once. Would have loved Baltimore. My bad. The Browns.
Yeah.
Would have loved to have seen it, but
We still have Pittsburgh one more time in Pittsburgh. We can play
Prime
spoiler.
time,
We can play spoiler.
Saturday night football.
It is Saturday night.
This Saturday night game. It's like 2 games on Saturday, and we play the late game versus Pittsburgh.
Oh, they should flex that.
If anyone's still watching,
Thank you.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Make sure to leave a like.
Leave a like, subscribe. We're gonna continue, content every week. This is not gonna change. We'll be
Nope.
here every week. We'll be putting in the work on Twitter every day. Not gonna miss
We'll
a
start
day.
getting more draft stuff out here since
Some people want to see the draft stuff, so we'll start putting some draft stuff. We're gonna have a draft show once the season ends because that's gonna be heavy for us,
Yeah.
especially this
and
year.
we like doing that kind of stuff.
I think we'll turn it into a free agency and draft show, just because there's a lot of work to be done on the front office side of the
We'll
ball.
get like a free agency big board up.
I think each
Yeah.
of us will pick like 3 free agents like we think we should sign and why, and like we each explain.
we-
I say we
Go
all
over.
definitely
A lot of
have
good stuff
different
coming.
opinions on
Yeah,
what
that's what I'm
we
saying.
want out of the free agents.
I don't know, just to end it on Who Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we
That was
need.
another
That's-
great
need to
episode.
keep the spirit up. Who Day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you guys.
See ya.
See ya.